How we go from this to this, from digital sketch to traditional painting. Hello everyone and welcome to Brush of Magic. My name is Ron Stern. We are going on an artistic journey from digital rough sketch of a Star Wars clone trooper to a finished traditional painting of Captin Rex. Please subscribe to see more paintings of your favorite characters. The really rough sketching is done on an iPad in the app Procreate, and right away we can see where I make a mistake in anatomy and make the trooper's arms too long. Making adjustments for anatomy, composition, and color is always easier for me when I correct the mistakes in the rough stages. In this part of the work, we can see that I decided the painting would have a color theme that was light, using darks for contrasts. The temperatures would be warm with cool highlights, and the dominant colors would be a split complementary, yellow, orange, and blue. Once the sketch was complete on the iPad, I went to work on the traditional media. The sketch was transferred with an HB lead pencil by hand to the Bristol board paper. Once that was in place, I selected an acrylic black paint, and I used a lot of water and a small amount of titanium white and cadmium yellow to create a series of grays and darks to wash in the values of the shadows on Captin Rex. You can see the work was purposefully slow, allowing time for the paint to dry into the paper and giving me time to pay attention to the areas of detail that would help the painting pop off the paper when completed. You can see that I frequently go back over areas already painted, trying to add depth and subtlety to areas of shadow and detail. I changed tools and moved from paint to pencil when working on the clone troopers in the background. I wanted to make sure they receded into the background of the painting while grounding it visually and thematically. Captin Rex is a clone, and I felt it was important to have his brothers represented in some way in the piece. By using pencil, the values are much lighter and will not fight for the audience's attention in the final painting. For this painting, I apply a frisket or a mask, which is just a clear sheet of self-adhesive plastic. I cover the whole painting with it, and then I cut out the areas where I want the initial paint to be placed. The frisket covers and protects the other areas from paint, in this case, Captin Rex himself. In this part of the video, we see a sad event, the death of a favorite tool of mine. An airbrush I've used for over 10 years gave up the ghost when the internal packings finally gave out. But, as with many things, something sad can lead to something good if we let it, and I replaced the airbrush with one I've been wanting for quite a while. The background colors of rust, orange, and yellow, and crimson are airbrushed in, as is the background shadowing of the troopers. Then it's time to remove the frisket. You'll spot another mistake I make here as I remove the frisket and part of Captin Rex's helmet is removed from the underlying paper. When I was trimming the frisket with the X-Acto knife, I cut through the frisket too deeply and I actually cut into the paper, which made it peel up when I peeled away the mask. So I had to reapply the gesso undertreatment to the exposed paper to seal that part of the paper, and then I repainted the values of that part of the helmet. I still mix a lot of acrylic paints for the airbrush by hand, which takes longer and also creates more spatter in the airbrush applications, so I don't actually recommend it, but I just like the control of mixing the colors, so I frequently do it that way. Once the majority of the paint layers are laid down, I move to using Prismacolor colored pencils. These tools allow an artist to place spot colors with a great level of control. I move back and forth a lot between the airbrush, colored pencils, and laying in paint using bristle brushes. Any one of these methods can be used to complete a painting by itself, but I love the back and forth interplay between the medias. Sometimes it's easier to create a specific effect with one of those tools over the other, and so I'm constantly changing back and forth between them. And just like that, we reach the finishing point, and the painting of the most famous clone trooper, Captain Rex, is complete. Please subscribe to see more paintings of your favorite characters. In this artwork, we've gone from digital sketch to traditional painting, starting on an iPad and finishing in traditional acrylic paints on artboard. Thank you again for watching along with me on Brush of Magic.